Welcome to this section on the history of Soviet Union. In this module, we are going to look at Joseph Stalin's regime, that is from 1924 to 1953. Joseph Stalin led the Soviet Union from 1924 to 1953, and he played an important role in the development of the Soviet Union. To list out few of his major works, that is, he promoted the industries, he won the Second World War, forced the agglomeration of farming. Agglomeration is nothing but collective farming. So Stalin is known for his planned economy. He was the one who looked at agriculture as an industry that needs to be done collectively. By 1927 and 28, the towns in the Soviet Russia were facing an acute problem of grain supply. So he has noticed that there is a severe shortage of food grains by 1927-28. He in the government fixed prices at which grains must be sold. He tried to take some measures by fixing the prices, but the peasants refused to sell their grain to the government buyers at these prices because he reduced the price. So the peasants were not ready to sell it to the government buyers. Stalin, who headed the party after the death of Lenin, introduced firm emergency measures. He believed that rich peasants and traders in the country were holding stocks in the hope of higher prices. Speculation had to be stopped and supplies to be confiscated. Now he was very firm in taking measures. When he realized that the country is facing the scarcity of food grains, he took certain firm measures and he learned that rich peasants and traders are holding stocks in the countryside with a hope that in the nearby future the price will go up. What the government has reduced right now is not profitable for us, so they want to increase the higher prices. So once the price goes up, this is the speculation. It may happen, may not happen, has to be stopped and supplies to be confiscated. This is the idea of Joseph Stalin as the head of the party. In 1928, he made the party members to tour the entire grain producing areas and supervised and enforced grain collection by raiding the kulaks. Kulaks are nothing but the storehouses of the rich peasants. After 1917, the land had been given over to the peasants, and these small sized peasant farms could not be modernized. Now, Stalin also understood that as the land has been redistributed as a part of April thesis after October Revolution in 1917, the small sized peasant farms could not be modernized. In an attempt to modernize the farms and to run them along the industrial lines with machinery, it was necessary to eliminate the kulaks and take away land from peasants. He established state-controlled large farms. Stalin followed this program, and this is popularly known as Stalin's collectivization program. From 1929, the party forced all peasants to cultivate in collective farms. You cannot cultivate it individually. So the bulk of the land and the implements were transferred to the ownership of the collective farms. Now, who is the owner of the collective farms? There is nothing but government. Peasants worked on the land and the kolkhos, the profit was shared. So once you work on the land, the profit will definitely be shared with the workers or the peasants. Now, these peasants were not happy with the decision taken by Stalin. They were not able to understand and also not willing to do Stalin's collectivization program or collective farming in simple words. The enraged peasants resisted the authorities and destroyed their livestock. Between 1929 and 1931, the number of cattle fell by 1/3 because the enraged peasants destroyed their own livestock. Those who resisted the collectivization from then were severely punished. Many were deported and exiled. As they resisted collectivization, peasants argued that they were not rich and they were not against socialism. That is the viewpoint of the peasants. They merely did not want to work in a collective farm for a variety of reasons. But this was not looked in that way by Stalin's government. Stalin's government allowed some independent cultivation but treated such cultivators unsympathetically. In spite of collectivization or collective farming, production of food grains did not increase immediately. In fact, the bad harvest of 1930s to 1933 led to one of the most devastating famines in the Soviet history, which over 4 million died. During the period of 1930 to 1933, there were severe famines, and in the history of Soviets, where 4 million people died. Many within the party started to raise their voice against Stalin. They criticized his planned economy and the consequences of collectivization. But the reaction from the Stalin and his sympathizers charged these critics with conspiracy against socialism. Accusations are made throughout the country by 1939, and over 2 million were in prisons or labor camps. Most were innocent of the crimes, but no one spoke for them. A large number were forced to make false confessions under torture and were executed. Several among them who were tortured and executed were talented professionals. Now, to sum up, Joseph Stalin, he was no doubt a very firm leader and brought development in USSR. But of course, that did not happen overnight and not without any criticisms. He has taken certain measures which were not successful, and it has costed millions of people's lives. Stay tuned.